Welcome back, everybody, to MCOC Al Bundy Rules. What I have for you today is a early first look at the new Variant 5 that came out a couple hours ago. So, originally was trying to do each chapter with y'all, but my 1.1 kind of stopped halfway through, ran out of storage, so that one didn't save, but I figured I would give you a 1.2 after clearing out some of my storage. So, see, checking the bus, there are limitations on the variant, at least in Chapter 1. It's allowing only Spider-Verse slash Mystics to come on in. So that will consist of my team of the options I have. We're going to look at these nodes first. I picked a simpler looking node for this path, which is the armor rating primarily, which I kind of like the higher armor rating with my Venom the Duck and his too. So I'm going to use a good amount of my Venom the Duck in this fight. I got a nice, beautiful 6-star R3 of Venom the Duck. Gotta love him, and this is a pretty dang good variant for him. He also extremely shines in variant 2, and of course many other content. A big thing though is that I got my suicides on, and although I probably should have took them off for this, I didn't want to because I'm still grinding units in arena, and I hate wasting units going back and forth to mastery. So Venom the Duck is not very suicide friendly. Therefore, I'm going to have to be very careful. I'm going to just be as patient as I can and as careful as I can until I get a regeneration. Once I get one regeneration, I'm going to be pretty good to go. But in the meantime, I just got to kind of stall. And once I get that one, it's going to be easy to bank them from there. I just need that one, and I'm golden. So, although I'm going to take a lot more than that. We'll see this fight going on. We see me playing extremely passive. Again, you will do that on early fights. I'm in the duck. I can get 3 buffs per fight. I've already got 2 good ones I want. But again, especially with suicides, I need some regeneration or I will not last very long. And Venom the Duck, this is good content for him. So, boom, there we go. That is what I need in my regeneration. So you will see that I went ahead and locked it in. Now I had a nice S3 saved up, which is going to reactivate my 3 save buffs now. As well, that is if I didn't kill him right off the back. So, that's okay. I'll start off with those 3 buffs beginning of the next fight. Only problem though is an Iceman. I did not have any decent counters for Iceman, at least out of the limitations. So I just need to get through this fight. So you're not going to, actually you're going to see a whole complete mess on this, but oh well. My goal is to do these item lists, and that will be successful, but you are going to see a little bit of sloppy along the way. As long as we get the end results we want, then who cares, right? So my logic behind using Voodoo on this is that his regeneration will help cancel out the frostbite and hopefully cancel out my suicide mastery here. And that was not very successful thinking on my part. Too much going on for him, not to mention a bit of sloppiness on my side. So I did get that nice S2 in which if I could just not make any mistakes, I could be good, but we saw I got clipped by the end part of that S1. Sloppy play, 1 down, 4 left. That's okay. Once I get past Iceman, I could go back to my BTD. So, you know what? I got my Starkey. I just need... So the only fight I'm worried about on this path is this one right here. So I can take some collateral damage. So if I had a good counter for this cold snap out of the limitations, I would be no issue. Unfortunately, with the Spider-Verse and Mystic requirements, I don't have any counter for that. Can't even think of off the top of my head who would counter that. So, once again, I took a pretty good beating from between my suicides, bleed, poison, and then the cold snap. I took quite a beating. However, without even taking a beating. However, at least I can get some hits in. My main goal is to at least get Iceman down far enough to if I lose 2 champs on this fight, I ain't too worried. I just need to get him down with less than 2 champs. Otherwise, it can hurt me for the later paths. But what do you know? I got him down with a little bit of left in the tank with Starkey there. So that makes me happy. Only lost one champ and well, most of the second one. But I am more than satisfied with that. Now moving on to Rhino. My main goal again is to get through as much of this path as I can with VTD. So what I am going to do now is I got my three buffs. There are three buffs that I want, so I am going to bank them. We will see, especially those of you not familiar with Venom the Duck. We see they activate at the beginning of the fight. If I do a heavy or a special before they go away, they will auto, each of those will double. So you will see me heavy. I went from 3 to 6 buffs. So next time I do an S3 and or the next time I start a fight, I will have 6 buffs. I will have 2 of each of those ones that I had. They each doubled. So that's going to put me in a much better position. Knowing I lost a good amount of health in the first fight because it took me a bit to get the regeneration and I got the suicide masteries on, so I just ticks away. I need to get some more health. So my goal is to try to get an S3 eventually. Although I did try to do an S2 there because of the armor. Like, oh, get that armor toxic going on. Unfortunately, my timing was a bit off. So you're going to see some pretty sloppy play for me. I felt like the timing was off on everything on the fighting today after the recent update. Maybe it's just me. I'm not sure, but I was having a little bit of timing issues, a lot more than I normally do. As easy it is to blame the game. Sometimes I'm just off myself. So, what I really want to do here now, what's really important, especially at a third of my health, I have to get this S3 going. Once again, this S3 is going to activate my 6A buffs, but what I need to do is bait out that special, and now let me get me some S3 goodness. This is going to be imperative, because again, suicides is ticking down my health. So, I need to get those. I got 2 banked regenerations, and again, I killed Rhino before I could activate my S3. My S3 is just a little too potent today. When you don't want to knock them out, they get knocked out. Twice in a row now. That's okay. Eventually, I'll get some health. Just seems to go the opposite of how you want sometimes, but that's okay. We will see those increased armors, which could be a good thing for Venom the Duck on his S2. But I got my regenerations. You will see my 2, 2, and 2 going on. I got suicides. I'm losing health very quick as we see. I am more than happy to get a bunch more regeneration. So I just banked that. That doubled. Regeneration takes priority. So those 2 regeneration I got is going to increase to 4 next time you see it. Then I got 1 extra on one of the other ones I had. I think it was power gain would have been the next priority over because I didn't have any Furies. So normally I'm very picky on my first fight. I'm gaining my buffs on what I want in the first few fights. When you're taking down bleed and poison damage from suicides, you can't be as picky. So take what I get sometimes. So we will now see. I got these nice buffs going at S3. I finally didn't kill somebody after an S3, so I got that regeneration going on. You see with those 4 regenerations, I'm getting about 586 a tick, it looked like. Here I'm trying to beat the S2 and trying to get the specials going on. I had the same issue in Chapter 1. I was having they just didn't want to bait very well. It really feels like the AI or the timing just has seemed a bit off to me today, but it could be me. So, got that fight down, nice and easy. Move on. Good thing about this variant is the paths are pretty short. Not a whole lot of fights, so this is a pretty nice. Next is Groot. Always a pretty easy fight. Again, those armor ratings, so if I launch an S2, that will be nice, but right now I got to worry about my health. As I'm still ticking down, and been at less than health. I've been under half health for pretty much the entire variant 5 so far. Alright, so going on up. Get a little bit of hits. Once again, take those early buffs. Finally got a little more health. Trying to play cautious with Groot for me. as much as that S2. I'm already having timing issues today, so can get that S2 generally, but I don't want to risk it in this fight. Trying to play safe because I make enough mistakes already, and try to avoid making more than I really need to. So keep going on. So I'm just going to try to focus on baiting that special one because that special one is ridiculously easy to bait. So again, I'm going to launch an S3, and I love that S2. Don't get me wrong, but once again, with suicides, I got to keep my regeneration going as much as I can. So I went ahead and did my S3, which does pretty dang good damage. Now I got my regenerations and my other bust precision and power gain going as well, which I banked earlier, then doubled up at the start of a few of the fights. So I'm looking pretty good now. It's a matter of finish up this Groot. Almost done with the path at this point. Decent fight. Now I'm going to get to Red Skull, which is going to be, I believe, the last fight of this path before I get to the boss. Nice short pass, which is, I like that personally. Alright, so go after that Red Skull. Some intercept on that Kimami. And looking up at the top left, we will see I still have 9 buffs. I can have a maximum of 10. So whenever I feel like it, I can bank one extra buff, either one that pops up. If I bank it when they're active, it would be another regeneration for a 5th, which at this point I wouldn't need a 5th. So if I see something I like, I'll try to bank it if I'm paying attention. If not, matter of getting going on. So I'm doing a similar thing with Red Skull I did with Groot. I'm just focusing on his S1. Again, I'm pretty decent at dexting his S2. However, it's easy to mess it up. And I'm already, like, again, my time had been a little off, so I'd rather go for the sure money and do those S1s because I know I ain't going to mess up his S1. No need to be fancy. It's about getting the job done. So if there's an easier way to get it done, go with that. So let's go ahead and launch that beautiful S2, which finishes off the Red Skull. Let's move on now. Going on to the final fight, which is going to be our boss, Gamora. I want to give you a spoiler alert. This is going to be some of the sloppiest fighting you're probably ever going to see from me, but so be it. As long as I meet my promise of making this an item-free fight, then so be it. We will see lots of stuff here. The unblockable specials. We will see no damage without specials. And we will see stunt immunity, or the main things. You'll see some other stuff. The other stuff I barely pay attention to. What I was looking at is the main stuff. So, no stun, which means no parry. We will also see those specials are unblockable. Gamora specials are usually pretty easy to evade. I never really have any issues. Slight spoiler. Unfortunately, after the end of this fight, I might have to eat my words a little bit on that. But, and we've seen that my hits aren't going to do any real damage. I got to get those specials. Luckily, Venom the Duck has good specials. To as long as I don't make any silly mistakes, I could take her out really easy. Key phrase there, as long as I don't make any silly mistakes. And spoiler, boom. Yeah, for some reason, I'm struggling with her S2 on this fight. It just feels so much quicker than I'm used to, just hitting before and I wasn't able to evade it. Unfortunately, that is not the only time you will see that mistake, and that was an instant kill. And you see me make another mistake on Gamora. I think I got a little shaken up on that mistake because I started off this fight horrible with Doom, and even though I know she's shock immune, you will see that when I saw shock, I tried to do the nice little heavy stun, and well, we saw I got punished for my stupidity. Just a little bit of, sometimes you end a fight on a sloppy note and it sticks through for a fight or two, and I'll chalk that initial start up to that. So with that being said, I have to use Doom way differently than we normally ever would. So I can't stun her, which makes a big difference. I also have suicides on, so I can't be spamming specials. So I can't use, in hindsight, Doom was probably not the best choice for me to bring in on this, but That's okay. So normally after the S3, I could do some nice stun damage with that light, medium, or various combinations I use and spam the S1 through S3. Unfortunately, she is stun immune. So I'm going to try to avoid making the same silly mistake I made at the beginning of the fight. And remember this time that she is stun immune. So I'm not going to charge like I normally would. And look at that. I actually dodged her S2 that time. And you saw how quick it was. So it just seemed very quick today. So, once again, probably just me. So I'm going to do as much damage as I can on this. Again, I got those suicides going, so I still got poison ticking down on me. Got low health based on my early mistakes and my suicide masteries. And remember, with suicides, anytime I launch a special, I take 5% recoil damage. So you can't be spamming specials on a champ like Doom like I normally would. Not a very suicide friendly. And look at that, I take another S2 right in the kisser. I am a little humiliated on my taking two S2s from Gamora, who is normally extremely easy, and there I just got intercepted right away. So a horrible start to this fight. I still got 63% left, and this is some bad boss fighting. Can I still meet my promise of doing an item free run after these horrible boss attempts? Only one way to find out unless you keep watching. But learning my lesson, being a little more cautious. Sometimes they get a little cocky and just go on in. So what I'm trying to do here now is launch those S2s, even though I know I take 5% damage on the recoil, I know I can do a lot of damage with them. So just doing some math calculations, I figure a few of those little S2s on the Inferno will do the job. Worst case scenario, if I had to switch over to a bleed, that'd be good. And look at that, I actually missed the S2. Yay. Now I'm a little more cautious, as we will see. Too many dumb mistakes. And I'm down to 11%. Again, we got that stun immune unblockable specials. And damage only done through my special. So you'll see a different play style, which did give me a few little hiccups along the way. But with that being said, promise successful. No units run through Chapter 1, 2, Variant 5. Thanks for watching.